Peace and power, peace and power. Let me get right. Let me get right. First of all, salute, salute, salute. Let me get right. Let me get right. How's everybody doing? Peace and power, peace and power. Salute, salute. What's good? What's good? What's good? I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. So peace and power, salute to everybody. How y'all doing? Salute, salute, knife, salute, salute. What's going on with you? What's good with you? Peace and power. It's a little quick mid-afternoon live that I wanted to do for quite some time. I have had conflicting thoughts about doing it because I don't want anybody to ever believe that that I would use this information and that I would use these relationships as some sort of clout. Salute, 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 Brandon. Salute, Ra. Salute, Knife. Salute, V. Salute, everyone. But as I watched the last episode of the Wu Saga last night, I made the decision. What up, Ray? Salute. I made the decision to give a little background information on my relationships in the industry. I mean, I've done it before briefly on Facebook. Salute, Vanjie. Salute, salute. And again, you know, my knowledge, firsthand knowledge, comes from my experience. Now, I've had the opportunity to be around some of the most prominent and iconic people in the music industry via hip hop for a long time, since its beginning. I did everything from, you know, had my pen moving as an aspiring MC, to managing, to security, to consulting, to being muscle, you know, all of it. You name it, I've done it in the industry. And it goes back early on, around my junior year of high school. My junior year of high school, my best friend at the time, father, dibbled and dabbled in sort of the underground punk scene with his own little band. You know, he was just this fly ass Bayesian dude living in Clinton Hills. You know what I'm saying? Like, he made his living basically being an independent contractor, doing handiwork all over the area in Clinton and Washington. Lived across the street from Wesley Snipes. You know, so we was in that mix early on, right? And, you know, since we were fans of the industry, of the music, of hip hop, and really had no choice, being that it was all that we ever thought about since we first heard Cold Crush mixtapes and Rappers Delight and stuff like that, that we had absolutely no choice. And being that we watched the Fat Boys go from, just being neighborhood entertainment to worldwide stars in a matter of, a year or two. I mean, I could remember, Buff beatboxing and Gersh in the staircase, and me being in the SP class, right, smartest class, being skipped and able to sit in class with my older cousin Will Curry and Mark, right, Prince Marquis D. Morales, may he rest in peace. Always, you know, uh, just amazed at the craft of what hip hop is. Going to the jams, seeing DJ Bobo doing a thing. Yeah, rest in peace to Buff. And watching Bobo going in the street jams. Seeing our old timers, seeing the older guards, the hard rocks, fist fighting and. Puma Clydes and house medallions and mock necks and, just being a part of all that, just being in the mix of all that, it was very, very intoxicating. So by the time Mark and them took off, and me being from the project and hanging across the boulevard in the residential houses, watching Busy B and T Funk drop Inspector Gadget rhyme and watching all of them right there in the house on New Jersey Avenue across the street from 213 PS 213 Park, just being overexposed. I mean, just overexposed to people who were not struggling to get on, but were on. So, we watching this. I mean, like, we're part of that. We see T-Funk on a regular basis. We seen, K-Love, Biz was consistently a part of, the neighborhood and us, battling. I remember Biz used to battle this guy we used to be with named Dave. You know what I'm saying? Dave's name was Magic D, and he used to beatbox and shit, and he was the only one that could beatbox and rhyme at the same time, and him and Biz used to battle and shit. Shit was hilarious. And then, of course, another individual who was like right in my set, named his name was Mr. B, but since there was a real Mr. B on Profile Records, we told me how to change his name, and eventually changed his name to Red Bandit, right? And he had some limited success. He came out on his own, had a little solo joint, that he used Anita's Baker sample on one of his joints. He made a little joint with that, and he was I believe he was in Mike Bivens' camp for some time, but that was always there. And me going back and forth to Canarsie, the Brookline houses where my grandmother lived and my mother was raised, being introduced to Daddy O and Stet and Wise and watching them throw jams, the bug is gonna hit you. So of course I wanted to write. And so I began writing. You know what I'm saying? Writing my little rhymes and stuff like that. And my best friend Pops was like, hey, if y'all could do that, why don't y'all, start recording? And he started paying for studio time for us on a regular basis. We going in there, not knowing anything about the business. We 14, 15, and just having fun being in the studio, rhyming over a beat, and we snatching certain vinyls and telling the dude who was not only the producer, because it was in his crib, he had a whole studio in his crib, and the engineer. So we trying to tell him how to not be so funk, but to be hip hop, and to, we didn't know about layering tracks and all that. We just wanted to stay on beat. So, and his name was JP. I'll never forget that, because he used to get mad. We used to tease him, tall, slim, white dude and shit. JP. We used to call him Geppetto and all that shit just to get on his nerves and bother him and shit. During the course of that, his father said, yo, y'all need management because y'all pretty good. I know somebody in the area. And this woman, you know, white chick, heavy set, you know, little chubby white chick, was she was so into hip hop at the time, she had turned her house, right? And I put a pic of her house up on Facebook not too long ago because I passed it. The building is still there, you know, over there on Green in Washington, right? Let me get the right. I think she was on Green in Washington because he was on Clinton. And beautiful building, but she had converted her apartment and she just had made it a flat and just had all these kids in her apartment doing anything that had to do with hip hop. So she had graph artists in there doing their thing. She had DJs doing their thing. We were the only MCs there when we came through, and she had dancers. One of the dancers was Stretch. Now, anybody knows anything about hip hop dancers, they know Stretch was the absolute nicest, right? Stretch went on to dance for not only Houdini, but Mariah Carey, and also you will see him in several videos, and his most famous video was Remember the Time, Michael Jackson. So Stretch was a B-boy to the fullest and always was fly, even back then, you know? So we would go and do everything. Stretch, nope, not Rocksteady. At the time, Stretch was IOU. I believe Stretch is IOU dancers because I know it's a difference. I was in that collective with Stretch, but in high school, in my senior class, was Scoob Lover from Big Daddy Kane. So Scoob was JAC. It's either Scoob and them was IOU dancers or Stretch and them was IOU and JAC. Those were the two little crews. IOU dancers, JAC dancers, right? And they would battle in Union Square, in Club Union Square, or in Latin Quarters on the street. So I knew both of them. So when we would come up in the club, I would pan one out, but Stretch and I were closer because we was with this woman. The woman's name is Michelle Travis, right? Michelle, and they used to call her Torn. Michelle Torn Travis. I mean, she was just totally hip hop. She would go to different videos. She would push certain artists. Anybody she could plug with somebody who was in the business, she would do it. The only time that I ever remember seeing her on video, if you look at Rakim's video, Move the Crowd, you see a chubby white chick with a hat bouncing around. That's Michelle Torn Travis. She was in Move the Crowd video, you know? But by the time she was in there and Rob was out, shit, I was already in the street. Now you talking 1986, Union Square opened that summer, I believe in May, because it was before we got out of school. It might have been the second week in May or the first week or second week in June. But that's when Club Union Square opened. And by that time, shit, I was in the streets already. You dig? My senior year in high school, you know? I don't believe, no, I think Big Les is from Mount Vernon area, up there. I don't think Big Les is from Brooklyn. We did have a Big Leslie from Brooklyn, but she was a security guard. She used to do female security for all of the clubs, like in the mid-90s. That was Big Les. She used to be at the tunnel. Anytime you had to get searched, as a female, anytime this chick Jessica, when you talk about Jessica and you know and Stress Entertainment and putting Funk Master Flex on, Jessica had Big Les from Brooklyn always doing security and pat downs for women at her parties. right? But Big Les is from Mount Vernon, because my homie Howie was in Mount Vernon's clique. He used to run with having them. Howie, Rudy Knox. That was my dude, man. I met him up top. 6 degrees of separation. We used to be in the same spots, but we didn't know each other at the time. Ended up meeting up top. But anyway, during that time of my life and back and forth, like I said, being influenced by Seth Sonic and the Fat Boys, right, and the Bad Boys, I had the bug. So I was always in the mix. I was always in the industry to some degree. I went to the service, and when I went to the service and was overseas from 88 to 90, I was trying to keep in touch with a lot of the things that was going on back home. But even back then, hip hop had a strong presence overseas, but people wouldn't know that. People wouldn't know that at all unless you was over there. So I was stationed in Mainz, Germany, right? Mainz is on the side of Wiesbaden, and once you pass Wiesbaden, then you get to Frankfurt. When you're in Frankfurt, that's where they had all the clubs. Each little city had its own club, but Frankfurt was the big spot. That's where the red light district is and all that. So all these artists that I was missing from home, because there was no cable and stuff like that. Cable TV was rare, especially in the barracks. If you was living in the barracks, if you was on, military housing off the barracks and in the German economy, you might have had cable. Only way I would see cable was if I had a chick, German chick, or some chick from wherever, Belgium, Italy, then I would go to their crib and, I would get to watch videos. But I was boxing at the time. So my time was very limited. And I used to go, to my perform my duties, go to another base, which was a Fitton airfield. That's where they had the boxing. And I would box, train, do all that type of stuff. And I could recall my orders not being granted for me to box another season. So at that time, I was really out there. Now I'm in Germany. I'm learning how to speak German. I have German friends. But these artists used to come and perform in Frankfurt. That's how far back this goes. Rappers been getting money over there. You dig? I don't know my 10-year anniversary. So I go overseas. One of the chicks I was dealing with bought a cassette tape and album from these guys. She said, "Listen, read these notes. These dudes are from where you from." So I'm looking like, okay, who is it? Gangstar. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I'm reading the notes, and they piecing out the East New York and the Linden houses and this. So she actually put me on to Gangstar. The only time we was hearing or getting visuals from overseas is if my mother would tape VHS tapes of the video music box and send it to me. So I used to be thirsting for home. But even though they had concerts in Frankfurt, I never had, enough time to either go purchase it or get there and get back to Mainz. So, my whole concentration was working, boxing, and doing my thing. I was over there, acting a fool. I brought East New York with me. Y'all not paying me, so I got to get money, so y'all know what the hell I was doing over there. Yeah, strong arm is in effect. And loving it, loving the experience of being in a foreign country and seeing how people deal with you was an experience for me. Because the darker your skin, the more them chicks was on you. It was something. I've seen, like I've said many times, I've seen dudes over there, they don't come back. Motherfuckers been over there, dudes over there still rocking Jerry curls. You know what I'm saying? At that time, again, there was no cell phone, no internet, no none of that shit. So dudes just get caught in time warp. Them chicks put something on them, they don't come back home. It was just like that. So anytime a new person came into the country, they would grill him. So it would be me, because I'm coming through. I got 2-3 parts in my hair. You know what I'm saying? I got 2-3 parts in my hair. I'm hip hop to the 10th degree. They never seen no shit like that. So I used to always get questioned about what's going on in the States. And peace, J Boog, what's up? I see you. Matter of fact, one of the girls I was dealing with over there ended up coming to the States. She married some Haitian dude. They moved to Jersey, then to North Carolina. When she got rid of him, she ended up going with some dude, and she's married to some Nicaraguan dude who was in the Nicaraguan army and all that. That's another story. So by the time I realized that these dudes was having these shows, and I mean, and well, by the time that I really started watching the videos, that made me homesick even more, because my mother would send it. You know, I would see the videos, and I'm like, damn, I got to get home. And upon getting home, you know how it is. You come from the service, everybody, you know, and they know you're a street dude. Everybody wants to know if you grew, what was your experience like, all this other shit. So at that time, from me in '89, finding out about Gang Starr to coming home and seeing these dudes on a regular basis out the way, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So they was hard body. They was with Fat Gary. They was with Big Gordy. They was with Vic Black and all them on a regular basis. So I'm right there. These dudes know my history from before the service. So, of course, they had a certain respect level for me. And whenever Gang Starr would do a show, we getting carte blanche. And that's what really started me having access to behind the scenes, you know, coming through and being backstage and being treated in a certain way. And from that point, I never, ever, rarely, never sat in a crowd during a concert. I just didn't do it because I was spoiled. You know, I'm coming through with Premier and Guru on a regular basis. And then our younger dudes, worldly known as Spider-Man and Dr. Freeze, end up producing Poison and I believe Dope for BBD, and then Sex You Up for Color Me Bad. So now, on a hip-hop level, we coming through with Gang Starr, right? And on the other level, we coming through with Spider-Man. Not Freeze so much. He had got chased out of the hood and he was in Cali, you know? He moved early. And then Carl Kanai starts blowing up. You understand? So now we talking early 90s, 90, 91. I'm back from the service. I'm in college. I'm in nursing school. I'm in a specific space. On the streets, I'm known for one thing. Over here, I'm known for that as well. But now I'm in school, so it's a little different. My cousins had moved from Bushwick to Left Rack City in the early 80s. At the time, New Edition's manager had lived in a building in Left Rack City. So my cousins was cool with him and also with Kenny Anderson, who I used to have to play all the time, you know, Chips. I used to have to come out there. I was the only Brooklyn dude coming out there to play against him. But New Edition's manager / bodyguard, whoever this dude was, I never met him, but he used to treat my aunt and uncle real good. So my cousins had a little name and a name for themselves because they eventually got into the street as well. There was always a connection. My little cousin, the youngest of the brothers, was very tight with Akinelli's little brother. They were best friends. So I meet Akinelli, and from me meeting Akinelli through my baby cousin, Akinelli introduces me to Nas. Before Live at the Barbecue or any of that shit, right? I meet him out there in Left Rack. He was running around. I have him spit that verse for me. I was like, okay, Shorty's nice. He gonna do something. And I'm not really absorbing what's going on because none of these individuals are really, really iconic at the time, right? Gangstar's doing their thing, but you gotta understand the first album, second album, you get praise, New York City, the East Coast, how radio is structured. You're not feeling that superstardom. But I know that I am getting preferential treatment by being in so many different spots and me being who I am. At the time, I'm still buck wild, right? Still in the street, still a stick-up kid, still robbing, still fighting and carrying on and doing what I do. The years start shifting. So now I'm in college. I met Nas. I ain't had no real relationship with him. Me and Akinelli was cool. Always been cool. Always been. Do all these people remember you? Hell yeah. Do I see any of them? Nah. You don't see them like that. These dudes don't run around New York like that. They don't run around like that. So now 91, I'm in college. I'm in BMCC. Borough Manhattan Community College, a nursing student on a GI Bill, right? And some of my youngins, when I call them youngins, that means they not in my set. In New York City, at certain times, when you 2 or 3 years older than a dude, it means a lot. Because that means if I'm 16, 17 running around in Union Square, your ass is still in middle school. You don't know nothing about that. You understand? So my youngins, now they're in college with me. I'm in college with them. And I forgot who it was. One of my youngins introduced me to AZ, the rapper AZ. Not AZ Faison. I meet him later on. But they introduced me to AZ, who was in BMCC at the time. And when I found out he was from the East, of course he cool. So, we run around. And I end up going home with him one day. And I'm looking at the building, I'm like, this building looks familiar, even though it's in the East. The East is kind of structured. If you're not in certain spots, which is the Bammers, and me even going to Jeff being, that's my high school, I never hung out in the Bammers. The starting center for our basketball team was from the Bammers, Big T. And so I'm going with AZ to the crib one day, and dude looking at me like, yo, what you doing in this building? And I look at him, what you doing in this building? And it was my man, one of my dudes I went to junior high school with and got skipped with, my best friend. I hadn't seen him since, I think, junior year in high school. I went to the service and came back. Now, that's my man, Lance Russell. Love him to death. So while me and Lance is kicking it, he's like, yo, what you doing with this dude right here? I said, yo, me and this dude in school together. So, A went to the crib. Me and Lance kicked it. A came out the crib. We left. And Lance co-signed him. Like, yo, he good people. He all right. So me and Lance reconnected and, started doing what we do as men. I'm in school in the street. He's in the street. And, we hung around for a couple of months and I got into something else. I don't know what I was doing. I know my grandmother was sick. This because we leading in around that time. My grandma's was sick. And I didn't see Lance for a minute. I go to check him and he had got murdered. I remember that vividly because all I remember is that when we reconnected, he said he had 8 kids and he was only like 21, 22. So that's all I thought about when I heard that. I was like, damn, my man got murdered. He had all these kids. And I never remember A mentioning it, But long story short, I didn't even know A could spit, right? And one day, he told me he wanted to rhyme. So, all right. I ain't think nothing of it. We go to school. You know how BMCC is. Everybody's playing cards and shit in the caf. And this fly-ass dude walked through the caf. I mean, fly. Back then, people weren't wearing multicolored ski jackets and shit like that. They just wasn't doing it. So this dude had a multicolored ski jacket, you know, some fly ass boots. Everybody else was wearing Timbs and shit. This dude got on Gore-Tex and he got goggles, skiing goggles. You know, I'm like, fuck is this dude? You know, but the way he put together it was fly. So A at the time, his main partner was Prince. Panama PI, right? Out of Queens. Really's out of the fort, but he got family in Queens, and he, you know, he's from 50 Cent area. When you see the video for Onyx, All We Got Is Us, that's Prince on the hook, Panama PI. So him and A were introducing me to this dude in goggles. He's like, yo, that's UG. Is UGod, what up? Okay, what up? What's good? I don't know if he's doing better. I don't know. I have no connection to Prince. I hope he's doing better. You know, damn, you on point. Yeah, you on point. All right, son. This ain't that time. We could probably in a DM or something. But yeah, I hope he's doing better too. So I didn't think nothing of it. I thought the dude was fly, you know, and in passing, you know, we would exchange, pleasantries and stuff like that, and you know, but I always remember him. I'm a stick-up kid. I always remember faces and peoples and energies and things like that. So me, AZ, Panama PI, UGod, all in BMCC, plus my other immediate clique, you know, who was running around at that time. I gets knocked. Never forget it. BBD was performing at the Garden with, oh my goodness, who was at the lineup was crazy. Because this is 91. Right? I just came back from Germany, 90. This had to be end of 90, 91. End of 90. BBD was performing in the Garden. And I'll never forget it, because we got in a little bullshit beef with Peter Shue and him. He had some, you know, Peter always kept fly, but he always had some little ground G dudes around him. And we had, you know, been beefing outside of the Garden before we got in. You know, and you know, we had to pluck these little dudes out, and you know, shit is crazy. Yeah, salute. So we get in the Garden, I get on my bullshit, you know. I'm saying, I mean, the first act, who was the first act? I think it was Shy or somebody. They was singing and shit, you know, and long story short, we in there, we wilding. As soon as the goddamn, as soon as the concert started, we dropping the concession dudes on their head and boop boop and running through the crowd, you know, just wilding out. I guess not. For some shit I ain't even do. Somebody did something. They chased me, you know, plucked me out. I go through the little precinct. I get knocked. But I had other cases, and I end up being stuck, you know? And that sent me up north for the first trip, right? Because the other cases was crazy. I had like 3 or 4 open cases or some shit. It was something weird. I believe I had copped out the probation or something to avoid a bail or some shit. And I was like, I'll take my plea back later. And I never took it back and never got adjudicated or sentenced for it. But that sent me up top when I caught these other 2 cases. So they called it a violation of probation or some shit, you know. I ain't think none of it then. Now I'm thinking about it, you know, but back then, come on, man. You crazy? So I end up going up north. While I'm up north, they try to send me to shock. Now, like I'm telling you, I just came out of the military, so I wasn't with no shock shit. But when you refuse shock, they send you to some other spot like 8 hours away, Lakeview shit, some holding joint. So I'm over there, waiting to get to a spot, because I damn sure wasn't staying there. I'm like, I've been in the military. I'm not going to do no fake military shit for no 6 months just to avoid, being in population, And what happened was, by the time I got to Clinton, they sent me to Clinton Annex. They didn't want me in there because the classification was too low, so they sent me to a camp, which was the worst experience ever. That's modern day slavery. That's a whole nother build. I'll tell you about that later, because that is slavery. In prison camps, how they got them people out west fighting fires and all that shit. That's something else. So while I'm in a camp, you got different stages. You go from like an 8-man dorm shit to like a 4-man room to a 2-man room and a single-man room based on your job and how long you was in the spot. So them 8-man rooms is crazy. That means you usually just got there, and if you just get in there, your shit is scattered. It's 80 y'all in the room. You trying to, get comfortable. So dudes that's in the 2-man and the 1-man, they want to see who's coming in the spot and make sure there's no beef. Even though it's a camp, but you may have a bandit or two to sneak up in there and you don't know who's who. So you make it a habit of always peeking in the 8-man rooms to see what's what. So I'm in a single at this time, I'm getting short, right? How long before you got a mindset of back and a raw vibe? That shit went too quick. Y'all could DM me those questions because I'm trying to run through this, I'm looking. You see me consistently looking at the clock, But anyway, I wasn't cutting wood anymore. At one time, I was cutting wood for the dudes that's behind the wall in Clinton. They put you on that wood crew, so you out there cutting wood, these big ass heavy trees, and you would bust it down, and they would take it. So the dudes on the prison yard in Clinton would have wood for their grills. You dig? So I was doing that for a minute. Then they put me on a different crew where I was actually cleaning. I think we cleaned the firehouse. Then we started cleaning the elementary schools, which was weird for me because I'm like, yo, the teachers would come in during the summer trying to clean their classrooms to prep for the coming year. And they used to give like too much rhythm. I've seen many dudes get trapped off, messing with them bras, or, the dudes that clean the hospital, they was getting trapped off, messing with, shit was just wow. And yo, you 8-9 hours away. I ain't got time for that shit. I'm trying to, jail shit ain't me. I'm trying to get home. So I peek in the room, in the 8-man room one day, and I see this kid. I'm like, yo, I know you. So he immediately braced up like, you know me from? I said, I don't know. I said, what's your name? And he didn't say UGod. He said UG. I said, so where you from? I said, you from the East? You from Brownsville? Like, I know you. But it wasn't coming back. He's like, yo, I don't know, but so we, continue, we talking. I said, yo, listen, you good down here? If you need anything, let me know, and I'll bring it down. So immediately, that's, dudes coming in a new spot, somebody up on them, because, I am who I am. I get up in people's energy quick. Ain't no bullshit. I don't fake. I'm transparent. So if I dig you, I dig you. If we got drama, we got drama. I'm not avoiding it. I'm up in you. So I'm talking, and, we kind of, fell back for a minute. So I did come back down that night, got him some food and all that shit, because, we upstairs cooking. So we talking. I said, yo, well, what do you do in the street? Like, I'm from Staten Island. So I know right off the rip, I don't know no Staten Island dudes. The only time I was in Staten Island is when I used to play ball as a kid. You know, we used to go to Cromwell and play in the tournaments and shit like that. I didn't, and then it hit me. I said, yo, you go to BMCC. And he was like, yeah. I said, I met you through A and Prince. He's like, oh, okay. And from that point on, we tight. So I'm taking, care of him until you get your shit right, until you move out of that 8-man space and you move up and get comfortable. So, when you're in that 8-man, you don't even have a job yet. You just being orientated to the facility and stuff. So we got tight. Got real tight. I'm checking on him all the time because he's not a dude that can take that situation. He cannot take that situation. A lot of dudes can't. Not that they soft or anything, but to be confined and not be able to move the way you usually move, it puts people in a different space, mentally. So he used to be stressed out a lot. And now when I'm seeing depictions on how they doing it in the film, it's like a lot of that shit is wrong. He would call a block. They had a phone like a lot of dudes did. Whether you're in Harlem or in Brooklyn, dudes had the number on their list where they could call a block phone. Meth would write them, because at the time, him, Meth, and Carlton Fisk. If you ever see anybody named Carlton Fisk, he's always with Meth all the time. Was living in the same house. Crazy, So they were right. Dudes was like acting real crazy with Meth while Huey was away. And he used to worry about that a lot. They are very tight. Make no bones about it. Those two are very tight. That's why I'm not digging the depiction and how they try to insert him in this season. Last season, I didn't say shit. I don't like how they doing it now. It's real crazy. It's a lot of shit. I'm not going to expose everything. I'm just letting you know that a lot of the depictions of that shit is off and to the left. So I'm taking care of him up north, whatever he need, whenever he's stressed out, I'm allowing him to, who the hell that is. Don't nobody know where I live. I got to be UPS or somebody. How dudes do when they are in that position, talking to each other, building each other, encouraging each other, like, yo, dudes is gonna make it, dudes are gonna make that, you're gonna be all right. So this went on for a few months. At the time, they still used to give dudes work release. So I had a violent charge. He didn't. And he ended up getting work release and going home before me. Back then, they were sending you to Queensboro. So he went. And then a few months later, I got sent down. They started giving violent dudes with certain classifications work release at that time. So he was down. By the time I got down, he might have been home maybe 3 or 4 months. At that time, you can't get out of Queensboro unless you have street clothes. And it's hell, to get some street clothes because you can't get out. Back then, that was the system. So I'm down and, just ironically, when I'm down there, they had one TV in the room and dudes was going in and out. So, Queensboro was dirty. It was just a mess. And who else is in there? Which was, now that I think about it, was crazy ironic. The kid Jesse from Force MDs. Dudes used to make, he was twisted. Dudes used to make him sing for cigarettes and all type of bullshit. Because when you're not 100, dudes, mishandle you. Nobody was beating or pounding him, but, if he wanted to smoke and you got real no access, people not bringing you in nothing, they was having them sing for cigarettes. And this is the first time, matter of fact, the first time I seen Def Comedy Jam. It was just crazy. So I run, UGod comes through. I'm like, yo, son, what up? He's like, yo, again, fly. You know, he been home a few months, so he back on his bullshit. Yo, fly, as always. Always. I never seen him broke. That's the only truth when you watching this season here and how they inserted him. You see they inserted him. He was already driving. Everybody else kind of twisted. You see he's driving him. He was always up. That's just him. He's not going to be twisted. And like in last night's episode, he was like, yo, I gave you 5 years, but I never said I was going to give it to you, and I'm broke. So I never seen him twisted. Always, in my lens, was more established than the rest of them. So, you know, he polying, yo, I'm like, son, I'm in here, I've been down here 2 weeks, because, you know, you had different levels. You would either go out every day to find a job or to, you know, take interviews, you get an 8-hour pass, or you would be on 4 days out of the facility, 3 days in, 4 and 3, or you was on 7 and 0, which means you had a job and you just coming in to give urine, see your PO or whatever. He was already 7. No, I believe he wasn't even 4 and 3. I think it was 5 and 2. So he came in for the weekend. Yo, give me your address. I'm gonna go get some clothes for you, and then you'll be able to get out. Okay, so he goes out, comes back. He goes right to the crib, you know, meets my mom, my sister, you know, give him, you know, bread. He added some bread in there, got me real fresh, brought the clothes back. And that was the start of a good friendship for years. So I finally get out. I'm doing my thing, you know, I got my PO, you know, I'm back in the mix a little bit. I go right back to school. Still have money on a GI Bill, so I go right back to BMCC. Now, you know, of course, I'm heavily hip hop. I've been ingrained in it, so I'm always listening to Stretch Armstrong, Bobito, all that shit on a regular. That's just me. I was doing that. Awesome 2, right? With Special K, Teddy Ted. DJ Ali and them used to come on. These dudes out of Jersey, right before Stretching them. But they've been on for a while. I think Ali and them used to be on back in like 88, 89. And they would play all the underground stuff, so I was avid. So one night, I'm listening to Stretch and Bob. I hear these dudes spitting. And they kept playing. They played like 3 times. Dude talking about he's a neighborhood Spider-Man and all this shit. I'm amped. I never, ever, as long as I've been in hip-hop, heard any shit like that. And I said, yo, that shit is hot. I taped it like we always do. You tape and Stretch and Bob shit. And I'm listening to this shit over and over. I'm like, yo, this shit is fire. No name, no nothing. So Yui had called me and like, yo, I'm coming through. What's up? What's up? I said, yo, all right, come through. So now he in front of my building. Yeah. You used to come to the east, all that, right? The 155 Workman, we in front of the building, kicking it. So I'm like, yo, I heard some shit last night, Stretching Bob. I said, yo, it's about 10 of these dudes. They spitting. One of these dudes is talking about he's Spider-Man and shit. So this dude is just smirking. He's smiling. He's like, I said, yo, what's so funny? He's like, yo, that's us. I'm like, who's us? At that time, I just know him. It's me and him. I said, who the fuck is us? Now, I knew of Meth, but he wasn't calling him Meth. You dig what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, nah, that's us. That's me and you know the Genius. I knew of the Genius, but Genius was Genius. I'm like, I wouldn't connect him with him because Yui never even told me he spit at all. So I'm like, get the fuck out of here. What you mean that's us? He's like, yo, I'm telling you, that's us. That's us. I'm like, who the fuck is us? He like, yo, come with me out to Staten Island and I'm going to introduce you to them. I said, get the fuck out of here, son. You playing, don't play with me, man. So, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm going to introduce you to, all right, okay. Let me go get my hammer. You know, have hammer will travel, baby. I don't go nowhere without the hammer. Friend or foe. All right, get the hammer, you know, and we go. Straight like that. We go out there. This is my very first time in Park Hill. So go to Park Hill. Of course, the first person he introduced me to is Meth. Now, he introduces me to Meth and Deck. It was Meth and Deck. But Deck was Deck. Deck is very reserved, very observant. And, you know, he pieced me and all that. They said they little shit. And he broke out. So now me, you, and Meth, meeting Meth, you know, we parleying and, you know, talking what we talk. And Ray comes through. Right? In an MPV. Right? And I meet Ray. Immediate love. No bullshit. When I tell you no bullshit, no none of that. None of that. No bullshit. I meet him. He embraced me. We embrace. You know, they polying. So I'm still trying to get to what the fuck you talking about that these dudes on this record. So far I ain't hear shit. So Deck, I don't know if they went into 160 or what. Deck went to the P's, but on the way back, Meth starts spitting Deck's verse in slow motion. This was something that they used to do to each other all the time. They would clown each other, right? And spit each other's verses very slow. So I'm like, yo, oh, that's that shit I heard. So I asked Meth, I said, yo, where did I get that song from? He said, yo, that's us. That's our shit. So now, while he's doing that to Deck, Deck is doing it to Meth. And they would laugh at each other. Meanwhile, they pitching right in the street on Park Hill. So I'm like, mind blown. Mine is blown. I'm like, yo, that's really y'all. He's like, yo, I told you that's us. So I'm twisted now, like, oh shit. Immediately I'm thinking the effect it had on me last night. I'm like, yo, these dudes is stars. They getting ready to blow. Still pitching in Park Hill. Straight like that. Now, some little dudes run up to Yui and like, yo, dudes is after A-Son. Yo, it's mad beef getting ready to go down. You know, A-Son beat up such and such. So I'm like, I'm on point. I'm just listening now like somebody, oh, okay, this is comfortable for me because I love holding down my peoples. I'm like, somebody gonna beat up something. So I ear hustled, whatever the story was, whoever this A-Son person was had beat up a 15-year-old. But the 15-year-old was attached to some family. You know, it was some neighborhood beef shit. So he put hands on Shorty. Shorty tried to do something or whatever. He ended up pounding Shorty out. So now Shorty and his brother's supposed to be coming through. Right? And I'm in the cuts like this. Oh, okay, it's about to go down. I'm already on East New York time. I'm looking like, who the hell I'm going to have to drop out here? Straight like that. Because I'm out here with my man. There ain't nothing going to happen while I'm here. I don't know what kind of shit they used to ordinary time, but we on my type of time now. So the kid comes up, and A-Son is right here now. It's in the street. It's me, Yui, Ray, A-Son. Deck was gone. Meth was gone. You know, if they went to the store, whatever, but by the time Shorty come up, he's beefing. Yo, fuck that. He putting hands on my brother, up. And I see in his waist, he pull his shirt up, he got the tech on him. So I'm like, okay. Nobody paying me no mind. So I'm like, oh, that's a nice tech. I'm going to get that immediately. I'm taking that. And if I got to drop Shorty, I'm going to drop him right there. Already know what type of time I'm on. But Shorty's just beefing. He just beefing the beef. So I run up to Huey ear, like, yo, son, I'm about to leave this little dude. Like, what, yo, what's up? Look, nah, God, nah, Cypher, God, no. I'm like, yo, you know how I give it up. So it's different. Like, they on a different type of time out there. So long story short, Shorty was just beefing to be beefing. He stepped away and ended up saving his own life. Because I'm getting ready to drop him. He tell me to let it go, I'm letting it go. All right? And I meet a son that night. So, you know, we all, you know, cooling, we talking, you know. Then they started spitting. I'm like, oh shit, these is these dudes. So Huey is he didn't drive me home that night. He had to take care of some business, so he's putting me in a cab, you know? So spitting, I'm like, yo, son, y'all dudes about to blow. Like, I didn't think that was you. I'm like, yo, y'all getting ready to blow. He like, word God. I said, son, this is what the world has been waiting for. A group of dudes, they got all the elements in it. You in your bars, y'all talking about comics and lessons and degrees with the karate sound and yo, y'all about to blow. Nah, God, we see what this shit is. All right, cool. I go home. Now they come back to see me. Now Meth comes out to East New York. So we stand in front of the building. Don't nobody know nothing. This is early. This is protect your neck time. And we just talking, spitting, you know, bullshitting. Go back out there. I go back out there and I'm watching Dirty Pitch. I'm literally serving people in cars, divine evils. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, these dudes don't know what's getting ready to happen to them right now. They are superstars. They getting ready to blow and they still pitching. They still in the hood. They didn't believe it. They did not believe it, didn't know what they was going to be. So now I meet RZA. RZA comes through this day. And like I said, me and Deck was cool. Boom Ray was cool. And I finally meet RZA. And again, and this is what the Wu Saga is keeping kind of official. They didn't really fuck with Devon like that, especially Huey. And his energy was a little off. RZA was embracive. You know, I met him. We probably, you know, talk here and there. And that was that. I was doing my thing as a, you know, stick-up dude. And one of the dudes who I came up with from way back in the days, who just passed on me not too long ago, Larry Big Duke Shaw. Me and Duke was on one of our missions. And he was like, yo, come on, son, you gonna go to Style now. And I said, okay, no doubt. I got peeps out there, you know. He didn't mention nothing. He didn't say shit. So he'll go out there to go get these two other dudes to go lay something down with. And Ray comes through. And, you know, Duke and Ray is talking. And I see him. I said, yo, that's Ray. I get out. Yo, you know him? Duke was like, yeah, this is my cousin. So that put me and Ray in a whole different level. You did? Because he know what his cousin do. He know what I do. So we tight, and me and Ray was always cool from that point. I don't care where we seen each other. Always embrace, always talk. He always pulled me to the side. Good solid dude. Good solid dude. I was telling him by now this time, MethodMan is out. Karim is out. Dudes is doing shows and all that. I believe it was the very first summer jam. And I went with them to that. I was the first one in Jersey. And I remember we backstage, and I think Arrested Development was performing, and Q-Tip and them was performing. Somebody else was there, and I remember seeing A, and him not telling me he was out there, but A was out there with Nas, and he didn't look right. I'm like, son, you out? I'm like, yo, why didn't you tell me you was coming out here? You know, because I was with Yui. Oh, he had shot me some shit again. Now, mind you, I didn't know he spit. I'm just thinking he just out there, and I didn't know he could spit to that degree. So, again, me and Yui's tight. We doing our thing. We running around. This gotta be going into 9/3. So by this time, it's an on-site thing when I see these dudes on a regular basis. I got phone numbers, immediate phone numbers to Meth, to Yui, not the Red Deck, but me, Meth, and Yui was always tight. And, now they starting to believe this shit, I never forget when, me doing what I do, I took care of some business in the industry and had a whole studio that I had for sale. ADATs, mics, track boards, reel, all the shit, And we were supposed to sell the track board to RZA. And because of the dudes who I was with and how it went down, I didn't have complete, total control over the situation. I put it like that. And they was kind of nervous because of who these guys were. Because, now they got legs. They on tour, they running around, they doing their thing. But he was going to cop it for something like around 12, anywhere between 12 to 15 grand, And I remember shooting out there. Okay, let's finalize this shit, do what we got to do. And it was a miscommunication. I don't know if they thought we was bringing the stuff right then and there, or us thinking they just telling us to come out there so we could, meet up, talk about it, get the figures right. But however the shit went down, they had an office up the hill at this point, up on Taji. No, it wasn't even Taji. It was up that way, somewhere up there. They had their first office, and Meth was showing me a video. Son, I want you to see this video. I'm polying with Ray. We talking. What video? He's like, nah, son, I want you to see this video. This gonna be the first video and shit for my joint. And I said, all right, let me see it. The chick was in there that directed the video, Diane Martell. That chick right there, Diane Martell. All right, let me see the video. It was a video for Bring the Pain. Oh. Like, yo, you like it, son? Yeah, I like this shit, son. Y'all off and running now. Y'all getting ready to do big things, man. Of course you fire, you hot. This shit is the bomb. And what did she end up doing? She ended up, from that video, and they was like, this was her first video. That's what they telling me. She goes on and she has a long-lasting career in film. Doing everybody videos. You dig what I'm saying? But again, what do we got to do? We got to try to fight with labels for publishing checks and all this shit, while they, on the other hand, immediately do their thing. So, again, the relationship is tight, man. Anywhere we at, or anytime they in the city, doing a show or something, I get the call. I'm there. I'm coming through. Or if I'm on one of my missions, because again, I was dumbing out in the street. I would dress up like a loc from Cali, wigs on and all that shit, and go put in pain. Or, I'd dress up as a mailman, or do whatever whatever I did, I would do. So I would pop up on them. If they in the, they might have a telly in the city, just because they don't want to be moving back and forth, or might be closer to the airport and they got a breeze or whatever. I pop up on him on a regular. So whatever happened with the studio he was supposed to purchase, he wanted to, he didn't have everything. It was going to be a strain. So he's like, well, listen, I'll make you an executive producer on the Sons of Man album. I said, shit, that's fine with me. And give you like a, half a point or something. I know the industry. So I'm like, yeah, shit, that'd be all right. You dig? I had no problem with it, but the people I was with, I don't think they trusted it, you know. And it was, it was a little crazy. It was a little crazy. So again, that relationship was solid, solid, solid. But now I'm moving between both camps, and at that time, that's when I was with the management team that was managing Miss Jones and doing all that other stuff in the industry. And so I'm in between that and then trying to catch Huey whenever he's around in town and calling me, and in A camp as well, because now AZ gets his solo deal. And he's in the studio making Do or Die. You want me in the studio for hours and hours. And I'm like, come on, man, I gotta get money. I can't be in the studio. Y'all not paying me. The fuck? Why I'm not that Doja dude to sit around and get crumbs and eat and, offer per diem meals and shit coming to the studio. Nah, man, what the fuck? I'm in the street. I'm getting bread, man. So in between all that, of course, I'm always backstage somewhere. I'm always at somebody's meeting. I'm always in somebody's studio. So that's just how I was always moving. Up until I got knocked, right? I got knocked and I knew I was a wrap. I just knew it. I knew I was going to go for a stretch. That was it. It was time for you to cool your heels. And yeah, I got sentenced to 33 joints. It was a 12 and a half to 25. They ran the guns wild. And, it was just nasty. But I ended up getting an appeal. It took me 10 years to get out on that shit, I did my thing in the law library. Just a model dude, you dig? And UGod used to take care of me, man. No bullshit. When you in the can like that, and back then we talking pre 2000, pre the millennial change, dudes send you anything, you know. Yeah, DM me on Instagram, and he took care of me, man. Took care of me, man. If you look at some of the linear notes on those Wu albums, UGod would say shout out to me before family or right after family. You understand? That's my dude. He don't send no bullshit, yo, little $30 and shit. Nah, he would hit me with $200 at a time. And back then, somebody send you $200 in the state, shit, you was living for 6 or 7 months. So solid. So as soon as now though, when I come home, everybody not in the same space. People done fell off, dudes done fell off, the industry shifted, now you done have the Southern explosion, this explosion, that explosion, all this other shit. And New York is kind of suffering. But Wu, because of the international base that they got and what RZA did internationally, always going to be iconic. So I started going, I was on parole, so I didn't really move around like that. But we was always tight. Again, I reconnected, with Meth and Ray and, and Huey, personal numbers and shit like that. Same thing now, they know my pedigree. Something you need some work get put in, they know I'm there. Holla. And started going to the Rock the Bells tours and shit with them whenever, need be, reach out and call. So, my lens when I'm watching the Wu Saga is something different. It's from a different perspective. I know the energies. I know what they gave me and what they showed me. So I'm never bitter about not being in touch or to get on social media and to give away secrets of what you've seen and all type of bullshit that these bitch dudes be doing on a regular basis. I'm just not that dude. Secrets is gonna die with me. You know, I may not be your man at the particular time, but you gonna always be my man because of what you showed me. Now people grow, mature, drift off, you know, and go through different situations within the industry and within life. And, you know, again, people may be there for the season. So you don't get bitter. You understand? You don't come on and expose what you know and try to make millions and get subscribers based on that shit. That's some corny bullshit. You know, again, I'm a real dude in the street. I'm a real dude behind the wall. I'm a real dude wherever I'm at, across social media. So, you know, my thing is I always respect and honor the friendship, the acquaintances, you know, while they last. You never know why you fall out of consistent communication. You understand? You have to, again, be who you are. And if I'm a stand-up real dude, that's who I am. I know secrets. I know who was smashing who. You know what I'm saying? I know who was getting robbed by who. I know how, you know, they had differences, you know, behind the scenes that shocked me. Some of the shit I was like, yo, you know? Again, when I'm after a decade, I'm coming home now. Ray, Ghost, and all of them is a different space. Matter of fact, I met Ghost once. We threw a birthday party for Meth. It was Meth's first house. And a lot of people don't know Meth's very first car was a Mazda Millennium when the Millenniums just came out. Yo, Bliz, what's up? This shit is hot. Oh yeah, it's hot. Him and Redman was downtown in front of Albee Square Mall and shit. And once the kids seen him again, we talking. Now they on TV on a regular basis, so it got crowded. I'm like, yo, son, I gotta go. Matter of fact, the last video shoot I was at was MethodMan, All I Need. They did that shit uptown on like, what the fuck was that, like 160 or somewhere up there, one of them buildings and shit, you know. We you know, that's when I met Ghost. I had to be like 93. I did a birthday party for Memphis when I had my little escort service where I had mad girls come through. Another genuine dude, man. Tony was real. Yo, they never, ever, when I tell you ever, treated me less than a G, less than a general, less than, you know what I'm saying, the God. They never, none of them, man. I just never felt any sucker shit from any of them, you know? So I don't know other people's experiences or perspectives, you know? I don't know what other people, excuse me, may have went through. But I've always been solid. But I have seen them do some shit to each other, man. You know, especially when it come to that paper. You know, shit is wild. The industry is wild. You know, you dig? You would love to do some music for my channel? Okay, well, submit it. Send some shit, and you know, we building now. Like I said, we building everything. I'm gonna build my little setup, build my little mics and you know, computers and all that. We're gonna turn this up, definitely. You know, but again, it's some indiscrepancies in that saga, man. I don't like how UE is inserted in it. Again, you know, I wanted to say something last season because you can't do the first season without him. You just can't do it. Whatever they was going through legally and all that, you can't do it. And now it's coming off as kind of corny and suspect because it's just missing a lot. It is. It's just missing a whole lot. And they need to consult with people, and that's a problem. They don't consult with people who are outside. You know, just like the Don moves on the island and how the Bloods came. They never ever have dudes who stood their own, who were neutral, spitting the story while watching them grow. You understand? You always need that outside perspective because, again, we don't know how other people perceive us, right? I've had close friends tell me that, yo, they really was in fear of me. And I'm like, for what? And he's like, yo, you don't know what that energy is like to be around you, especially if you on that bullshit. Like, yo, so we don't know. I know I could put a Wu story together. You understand? I know, again, this shit is off beat. You know? It is. Certain spots, you looking like, come on, that shit is corny. Um, the way they inserted Mook, who, by the way, as a matter of fact, let me correct myself. He the only one who gave me a fucked up energy. Straight like that. I didn't dig him at all. I don't know if because he was older or how he was positioned in the joint. Nah. I knew me and him would never rock at all. I just didn't dig it. It was just real, you know, it's just, you know that. And as an Aquarius, I'm like, we like almost everybody, you know, but that shit, I met Power when I first came home. Matter of fact, Power asked me to publish, because I was self-published when I did my memoir, you know, and he was in a position where he was just starting to do the art gallery. Power was doing the art gallery. He was, you know, putting his money into that. He was like, yo, this book is solid, you know? And he was going to, you know, help publish it, but I was already self-published doing that. That first book, my memoir. Thug Love Superman. How you? If you want to get that memoir, I believe I used Author House, but it's probably still on Amazon. Thug Love Superman. How you? A Letter from Up North by Karim Bliz Johnson. That might still be in publication. I may have to re-edit that too. So if somebody got some bread and want to put it up for me to re-edit that and want to publish that, because that memoir is mean. You understand? You get it. I got 3 books out there. Thug Love, yeah, Love. Thug Love, because that's an acronym. Thug is for T, is for thorough, H, thorough urban guerrilla. So that's how I used to, you know, greet and write my letters, because the memoir is actually a letter from me to the dude, and you know, he know who he is, my man Howard Rudy Knox from Mount Vernon. All them YGs from Mount Vernon know him because they came up under Dutch. That's Dutch cousin, so they know the story and all that. But me and Howie was up top together, and I used to write him when I came down on my appeal. So I said, damn, people want to know how dudes in the spot speak to each other, and they need to know that there's some intelligent, articulate dudes that speak to each other like that, you know. So he's going to be on Suicide Watch. That's regular. So I wrote the book, Thug Love Superman, How You, because that's how I used to address all my letters to anybody. Thug Love Superman, How You, a letter from up north. So that's a memoir. And Power, after reading it, he was like, yo, man, oh, John, yo, hot man, I'ma help you publish this shit, yo. Whoa. Him and my man, a good friend of mine, matter of fact, premier ex-manager, Fat Gary, and Power had the same lawyer, solid brother named Jeffrey Wooten. So I used to see Power in the office all the time. I'm like, yo, son, what up? What you gonna do? Yo, word, son, I'm gonna put some money behind it. Yo, I'm telling you, put some money behind it. You know, another embracive dude, man. I never met none of them. I'm telling you, Mook was the only one that didn't really do it, and and Divine, but I could understand where he coming from or what he was doing as far as that in his temperament. But all them Wu dudes, man, you know. And I got Ason stories too, man. I used to see Ason here and there. None of that shit was an act. What you seen, what you got with him, but you can tell he was definitely had mental health issues, man. Because he will remember you one day. I would see him in the city one time. Oh God, peace, God, yo, what's good, God? Then I see him somewhere else, and I'll be like, peace, God. He'd be like, yo, who you? I'm like, what? And he wouldn't be playing. Like, yo, who you? I'm like, okay. Yeah, he's bugged. He's bugged. But when he on and popping, I'm telling you, he treating you, embracing you, yo, God, yeah, God, loving you, And then the next day or 2 days, and he would completely forget. So he struggled, and they knew he had struggles again. But back then, people weren't equipped with diagnosis and things like that. But yeah, all them dudes, showed me love. And Jizza too. Jizza's not very embracive, man. Not very embracive, not at all. You gotta know him. He's another one really standoffish. And what's surprising, a lot of people don't know how tall them dudes are. Ray's the shortest one. Then Yui's about my height, about 5'11". You know what I'm saying? The rest of them dudes like 6'3" and better. Big dudes, man. Like, goddamn. It's like Eric and Parrish. People don't realize how big them dudes was. I remember one time we was in a club and they had on them herringbones and dudes is scheming, but dudes is like, man, them dudes is kind of big. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is in the club, dude to try to yap something real quick. You like, When them dudes is big. Luke too. Luke Skywalker, them dudes, some of them dudes is big. Suge, Dre, Snoop, was it Warren G or one of them other dudes, Sam Snead? Them dudes are like 6'3", 4, 5 and better, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, I get busy, man. If I could get up on you, I'm up on you. I'm gonna fuck who you are, But, I'm not gonna be fisticuffing with your big ass for it. Nah. We ain't doing none of that shit. You ain't punching me in my eye and all that shit, But again, I just want to give y'all some of that. We may go into the end of the season, and I could elaborate more. I'm trying to see how this shit gonna end, and if they have another season, they gotta have another season because it's gonna be things that's unanswered. But overall, I like it visually. I like how it looks, and being a part of it. You have to get a different respect for RZA and what he did, and also a respect and salute to them dudes because they navigated through this shit, man. It's not an easy game, man, especially when you talented and you got certain principles and you definitely coming up under the 5% banner and you got immediate family to take care of and you trying to take care of, because remember, all of them got a street crew that's separate from Wu. So it's a lot. So when you coming through on my end, the fuck can I get? They may put you in a place, but you gotta have, a means to make the best of it. Dudes can't hold your hand through that shit. And sometimes just being associated with a certain dude and having the power to utilize a dude via phone call or his presence, you gotta do that. Dudes got a lot going on. And that's what you have to look at when you're watching it. Dudes got families that they trying to feed. Dudes are older. So they got legacies and they got things you're not going to always eat off of this music shit. So anybody that's in the back end trying to pull at dudes and, yo, son, what can I get? What can I do? And you really can't do shit, you're going to get dismissed sooner or later. So just appreciate people for how they treat you. Especially if they break bread with you and have taken care of you and show you a genuine love, So, that's my Wu shit. I'm not going to get into the AZ shit. Not going to get into the Gang Star shit, because that's limited. The Spider-Man and Freeze shit, I see Spidey all the time. Not gonna get into the Tasha Jones shit, because that was minimal, you know. Anything else, you know, we may be getting into here and there, but I just wanted to set that straight because people keep asking me about it and shit, and like, you know, how was you inserted in it? That's how I was inserted in it, by way of Lamont UGod Hawkins, you know. And in all actuality, he is, or supposed to be, my daughter's godfather. But she ain't seen him since he held her and she was an infant, maybe. Okay, my mom's had passed. He came to the funeral, so my daughter might have been after the funeral. My daughter was born that next month. My daughter might have been about 4 or 5 months old when he held her. Like, yeah, I'm telling you, this my god baby, my goddaughter. So when you see him, reach out to him, say, yo, your goddaughter is 16, nickel. She ain't seen you yet. All right, so again, I gotta run, I gotta roll. I love my people. All power to the people that struggle. All peace and power to the people that struggle. And remember, love yourself first. Be patient with yourself, right? Be patient with yourself. Well, I can't, listen, I don't even want to think about grippers right now because the old man got issues, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, my shit ain't acting right. You dig? But again, love yourself. Be patient. Yup, the All-American Justice System Handbook. Get it, because we all need it. Peace, Foxy. Peace, Jay. Peace, Big Ma. Peace, Son, all y'all. And I probably do Outspoken tonight because he been hitting me since this morning. Love my brother, my comrade, Doggy Diamonds. See you, Yvette, AJ, and everybody that joined. Salute, share the vid, take pieces, do what you want to do. But if anything, know that everybody has their own truth. So what you see may not be all the truth, but it might not be lies or misrepresentations either. It's everybody's interpretation of it. Love it. If you've been a part of them, like I have on the back end, appreciate the friendships for what they were when they were. You understand? People grow, they grow apart. That's just how the shit is. You dig? I doubt that if they see me, they would want to maintain that distance. They ain't want to exchange numbers and but you know, I'm on a different type of time now, you know? Again. And since he's being inserted in the mix, if you see the God intel, which is UGod's son, ask him about the basketball games when his father was shooting a video for, what is it, Hilltop or Hillside Scramblers? You know, because he used to try to put them dudes on. He would spend money shooting these videos for me and the God Intel and Meth's son. You know, they were little dudes then. I'm out there playing basketball in my hard bottoms. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing the real shit with them. I got on the royal blue hard bottoms out there balling with these two little energetic dudes. They had to be like, shit, 7 and 8 at that time. You know, so it might be some video footage running around. If you see me, don't laugh. Because, yeah, I had a pair of $400 hard bottoms on with some linen jeans, you know, royal blue shit. That's how I used to come through. Yeah. Over, you know, some things that you pick up from other hustles and other lifestyles never leave you, you know. So me and the guard, boy, he's the guard intel now, but he was a little dude. And I'm out there, we out there playing. I done played like, had to be about an hour and a half with these little dudes, you know, while they shooting the video, just to keep them out the way. You know, we out there in Park Hill balling, you know. I'm slip sliding in the hard bottoms and shit, you know, trying to play AI, looking more like motherfucking Nino Brown and G Money with them hard bottoms on. So if you see them, let them know I ain't forget them. I still love them. You understand? Yes, dropping buckets. So again, salute, peace and power to all the people of the struggle. Don't believe in me, believe in my belief in you. Don't worry about all this other shit, yo. We gonna win. Just stay focused. All right? Y'all gotta stay focused. Y'all gotta stay down. Y'all gotta be analytical about the shit that we seeing. Love on each other. Love on each other, and remain militant. All right? My bill last Sunday really helped you. Baby, I got bills all day and every day. I'm glad to be of service to you. You dig? I'm glad that y'all could lean on me because, you know, if I was a goddamn fullback in the NFL, I tell all y'all, grab my motherfucking shirt. We can ready to run to the promised land. You dig what I'm saying? We got it, yo. Salute.